Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing an art journal page in my Dina Wakley blue denim album. I had recently posted a project for the A Cherry on Top scrapbook hop or project hop, and I did this beautiful collage and mixed media moment. We are going to do the same on this side, except we're just going to use a magazine photo, and I do believe this is Kylie Jenner. Does it say it? It doesn't say it, but I do believe that's Kylie. No, not Kylie. The other sister. Kendall. Not that this matters. So this is Kendall Jenner. We're going to make a similar side-by-side moment. We are going to create an orangey background with inexpensive craft paint. So this is just my craft paint that sits on my wall that my kid gets to play with. But I'll be honest, before I started getting the fancier products and stuff, this is all that I use. The Apple Barrel is like 50 cents at Walmart. It might be like $1 at Hobby Lobby. Go get you Roy G. Biv in dollar paint and start off your art journaling practice. I do have to mix some of these up because they've been sitting a little bit, but that's okay. So because I liked the contrast of her on the orange, we're just going to do an orangey sort of background on this side, and we're going to cut her out. And that's so game plan. So that means I also need, remember, collage. So collage medium as well. This one is the distress one. Dina Wakley makes one, but matte gel medium also does just the same purpose. This is our glue to get images onto your backgrounds. What else am I using? So I picked this up. This was a thrift haul, okay? Back in the day. I've had this in my collection forever. I strictly bought it. Now, yes, you know I'm a floral girly. I strictly picked this up for, I don't know, $5 to cut out every single flower in this book. Like, I don't care about the knowledge in here. Like, I'm a gardener, but I live in South Florida. We ain't, growing roses down here, okay? It's not the temperature for roses. But the illustrations and the photography of this, I strictly picked up because I was like, oh my God. So whenever you're at a thrift store, go to the used book section, go in the gardening section, and find you a gem like this. So what I've done while watching YouTube videos is cut a bunch out from a bunch of pages already. That way I have these ready to go on my desk. I'm a flower girly through and through. I will do flower crowns on women forever. Okay, so we have these to select from. So we'll dabble with that. So at first, let's just do a painty background. Probably we'll do some stenciling with some collage paste and put this on here and go from there. We will figure out a title when it comes to it. But for the process, let's just get painting and let's just get having fun. I will grab a piece of deli paper that I have over here. This was probably when I did this one, so that paint doesn't get on the backside pages. And we're just going for it, okay? We're just going for it. I really want you, and myself included, if we're gonna do a, not to say daily practice, because that's overshooting for me, but if we want to get into a nice routine of just playing, that's all this is, playing, then we need to not worry about the formality of supplies and formality of what do I need, what do I need to clean, what do I need to bust out. Sometimes, ooh, and see this is already kind of gunked up. This is how we do this. Sorry, let me fix this. This is what happens. Your paint is plastic, so sometimes there is a huge dried piece of plastic in your stuff. Okay. And I keep artsy towels here so that I never have to worry about having wipes. Okay. So what was I saying? I want you to get into the habit where playing can just be that. You may not love what comes out. You may not even think it's good enough to show. I may think the same thing at some point. But you know what? The whole point of a practice, of in essence too, of even getting better, is just to go for it. Look, I don't even have water out. I don't even have a little painting tray out to, have the little wells of paint. I am just dolloping on some of the paint. I grabbed a bunch of oranges or orange tones because you can see some of these are even coral. And I'm just putting down some paint. And I am doing it on, what do they call this paper? This is the Dina book. This is that, I think it's like rag cotton. In essence, it's like really thick watercolor paper. So on something like this as well, I know that that's why it's not moving as much because A, it's not primed. B, the paper is very porous, so it will absorb whatever you put on it. And you know what I'm thinking? Do I kind of like a little loose, edgy, white showing border? I think I may. I think I may do that so I don't drive myself crazy trying to paint up the color. But I think I will do it on the bottom because it gets covered up anyway. But let's just have it there. Okay. And that is the paint application. Maybe I want to add a little bit more coral. This one's kind of goopy too. I bet you this one has a plastic plug on it. Okay. First layer done. Let's continue on. Okay, so next step, cut the image out. Next step after that, I do take out one of my new stamps from Tim Holtz, the stone one or slate one, and I do some just very light stamping around the edges to give it a grungier and, you know, just some black contrast, high contrast areas, which actually work out good. So that's always a good step. Like any of your stamping that you want to do in your background, do it first, because I do have the intention. I showed my stencil and my stencil butter from the Crafters Workshop, and that will take some time to dry. And once you have the texture, stamping is going to be almost impossible. So do your flat stamping first. So that's what I'm doing now. And archival ink. Archival is also important because it does not move when you add any other medium on top of it. So if you did sprays or anything else, if it wasn't archival, it will move with the liquid. Then I'm taking this stencil that's kind of like these striations, and I'm using some stencil butter in the color Dune. I want to say, yeah, Dune. It's still sitting on my desk. And I did it around the edges because, once again, I just know that the image is going to take up a bulk of that center, so you don't need to waste product going into the center too much because of that. So even archival is important because even when you're applying the gel matte medium, this too, if it wasn't archival, will move the stamping images. So don't get me wrong, that is a look that you can go for too. It makes it very watercolor-like in the background. But if you want your stamping to stay nice and crisp and not move and stay the way it is, the way you stamped, definitely use archival ink. There is one by Ranger too. I think you saw me use the one from Close to My Heart. So once I applied matte medium on the inside the journal, I did also do it on the back side of the image. You don't have to do that step. I don't know if it really helps. I always think I'm just kind of doing glue on glue. I should try it soon, you know, without doing it on the back of the image. But this time for me, it wasn't a great application. You can already see like around her forehead, around the bottom, it did definitely get too wet, and probably that extra glue is there because it wrinkled. Like it wrinkled a whole lot, which is okay. I'm like, you know, we're rolling with it. Yes, it's not perfect. You can see me kind of like smushing some of them out, but I think it was too wet for the image. You know what I mean? So probably don't do the gel medium on the back of the image. Just do it inside your journal and then apply your image and then just do the layer on top of it to seal it would be suffice. Because you can even see, man, as we're working on this right now, it is wrinkling up and wrinkling more. Can you see that? Especially with the shadows on there. It just got more and more saturated, and the image itself wrinkled pretty badly. But like I said, I wonder if that's always a thing, and I've never noticed it with other art journal artists in your journals. Like, do magazine images always wrinkle up on them, or did I just get it like soaking wet more than I should have? Because it is wrinkly. And don't get me wrong, I do think once this dried, it did flatten out a bit as well. So just know that. So you saw me there just auditioning all of the little pretty flowers that I had cut out. You know, some work, some didn't, and it's just whatever appeals to you. There is no right or wrong no right or wrong way to do this. You know, it's whatever feels aesthetically pleasing to you. A way to have like your image kind of become part of the page is exactly doing what I'm doing now, like adding some of that extra stamping on top of the image. It makes it become part of the background rather than just sitting on top in the front. You'll also see me right now go in with some of the stenciling again with the butter. I'm just putting it around her shoulders, around her cheek. It just grounds the image into the background a little bit more. You don't have to do this if you want your image to look like it's just on top. Totally fine of a look for your art as well. This is just something that I find if I do, it just kind of makes, it merges it together, you know, it merges it together, and it looks good. It looks good. So I struggle because sometimes I always want a title. I'm a, you know, scrapbooker at heart. I want a title on my thing. I thought about stamping. I have stamps that will show boldly on this, but I have these die cuts from Tim Holtz, and they're always like in a rectangle or square, and I have a couple sets of them. And this one just says, "You got this." And I could have used, I think I showed like the black, it'll have the negative space cut out, which is these letters, and then it would have been a bold like rectangle on it in black. And it could have worked too, but I think the bold rectangle of it, I didn't like, so I just used the letters that it punched out for this, and it just says, "You got this." And it does take some time to adhere to this. And I will also say this clear mono glue, this one is going to the side. I forgot what I used the clear blue jar of Tombow glue. It doesn't work for nothing. I even had used it the other day for sequences, and OMG, did all the sequences just pop off the page with that glue. It is phooey. Don't use that glue. So we've been putting this on because the problem is with this is that it's textured and it's not porous. I've made it in essence like almost like like I'm putting it on the ridges of the stenciling and the matte gel medium, so it becomes not as porous, so the glue has nothing to go into. So you need a better glue. I'm trying to remember if this craft glue at least has these letters stuck on right now still. But glue is important. Glue is important, especially when you're doing art journal like this. You need something that will definitely stick on whatever I just completed on there. And I think that was the problem already with the Tombow clear blue gel glue. It was not sticking like whatsoever. It just was not able to adhere and get tacky at all. So this Scotch one worked good, but it turned out great. So now I have a yellow page and an orange page, and we will continue working in this Dina Wakley mixed media art journal. Okay, that will finish up this layout. I think I'm done. I mean, by all means, we could add to it because I was like, oh, let me add some, like, you know, stickles and stuff. Stop it, Ty. You know what I mean? Stop it. So this needs to dry. This wasn't working well. This works a little bit better on top of all of that, you know, modeling paste and texture paste and stuff. So we got to just, hopefully those letters stay on. So let me get you up close. So I think I probably explained it in my voiceover, you know, to have your image be incorporated, you know, you got to do some stamping on it and a little bit of overlapping of whatever you have going on. Just makes it blend with the background, you know, and putting it over here and stuff, so that it doesn't just seem like it's sitting on top. It's the best tip I can give you for today's layout. So we've got the orange page, we got the yellow page, so fun, and it's still pretty damp, so it needs to dry. I'll leave it out for a while because it's all very damp still. That's the joy of art journaling. So that's also, but also the problem because I can't just turn it over and like start working over here. Like I have to like let it be, which is why I actively have a good 4 or 5 other ones that are active that I can, you know, just whip out and play. Like for instance, my little A5 ones right here, and maybe we'll jump in and do something on this. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of having multiples. It's already a background. I can start doing something. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for joining us always. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Give this video a thumbs up. And until next time, everyone, bye.